I am Kelly Littlefield, and I am a fire inspector with the Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department. I am here today to talk to you about a little office fire and life safety. We are going to be looking at a multitude of electrical items and how they plug in. And one of the best things you can have is a power strip. Plug anything that needs multiple things plugged in at a time in a power strip and not into an outlet adapter like these. The one in this hand has burn marks on it. It was overloaded. The one in this hand is brand new. If you can read the fine print on the back of them, it'll tell you that only one thing at a time is to be plugged into these. So you don't want to overload. In fact, we'd prefer you not use them at all, outlet adapters. If you have something that doesn't reach an outlet and you choose to use an extension cord, if you can read the fine print on the extension cord, it says only one thing at a time is to be used on this little extension cord. A fun fact about these is the only thing that is UL approved under Ryder's Laboratory is the plug itself. The rest of it is at your will. We have had fires in residences because these have been overloaded. Lots of things plugged into them. People staple them to the walls. They run them under doors. They run them under rugs. Cords run under rugs. Well, it'll cause the cord to fray and the wires splinter inside the protection, and it can cause a short and even a fire. We do not want to see, as a fire inspector, we do not want to see these plugged into each other to get more length, and we do not want to see power strips into extension cords into power strips. We do not want to see power strips into extension cords. We've even had people cut the ground wire off to plug it into a small extension cord. If you pay attention, the cord width is smaller. This is the smaller, so less electrical load. This is the larger, more electrical load. The great big orange extension cords are fine, but you don't want to run extension cords under doors where they get pinched and trapped. It's the same as having it under a rug. As we plug items in and use appliances in the office, we need to be careful about overloading outlets. Our city buildings, most of them were built before the days of microwave ovens, before the days of toaster ovens and mini fridges. Our buildings were not designed to have these huge electrical loads. When City Hall opened in 1972, there were no computers being run in the building. It's everybody's responsibility, from the top floor to the shop floor is what we like to say. Everyone deserves to work in a clean, safe environment, and it's up to each of us to do our part to make that happen. All personnel are responsible for the safety of their guests in the building, and they're responsible for their actions. Though sometimes unsafe, we need to make sure that we're not the one that causes an accidental fire or electrical problem in the building. So we want everybody to be safe and aware. Think about the use of electrical items, heat-producing appliances, toasters, microwave ovens, coffee makers, anything that might produce heat. I have here an iron. This iron has automatic shutoff. Automatic shutoff is not off. If you leave it plugged into the wall and in an on position, it is still on, even though the iron has a safety feature where it shuts itself off after a certain period of time. The person that used to use this iron, you can see the burn mark on it, would iron their clothes, sit it on the ironing board, and walk away. She woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning, thought she was dreaming about fireworks, and her ironing board was on fire in her bedroom because her iron had shorted. So she gave me this so that I could explain that automatic shutoff is not off. The same is for coffee makers, any kind of holiday lighting. You want to read the directions and make sure that you don't plug too many strands into each other, creating an overload. And holiday lights need to be plugged directly into an outlet, not into a power strip or an extension cord. Our offices are sometimes drafty by the windows. If you use a space heater, you need to keep it 3 feet away from anything that's combustible. And when I say combustible, I mean anything that could catch on fire. That would be your clothing, papers under your desk, cardboard boxes, any kind of chairs or furniture. Some people are so cold, they're sitting at their desk covered up with a blanket underneath and using a space heater. If that space heater is closer than 3 feet to you, if it malfunctions, you could be involved in a fire. Space heaters need to be plugged directly into the wall, not into a power strip or an extension cord. They produce a lot of heat. If you're using a space heater at home, be sure you turn it off when you go to sleep. Do not leave them on. Heat up the room, get extra blankets, and get warm that way. We prefer that space heaters not be used at all in the workplace. We would rather have somebody turn the thermostat up. Just want to say that when you have things that produce heat in any kind of way, coffee makers, space heaters, laminators, anything like that, anything that makes heat, after you're finished using it, turn it off and unplug it, and then store it away as it would go. Examine all cords for damage. Tape on a cord does not continue the electrical current through the cord. What's damaged inside the cord, that it breaks that connection. So if you have a cord that's damaged, this has purple tape on it to indicate that it's mine, but if the cord were damaged, I wouldn't be able to use this cord anymore. Phone cords should be unplugged when they're plugged in to a computer or an adapter or the cube, as we call it. They still have electricity going through them, even though they're not plugged into anything. A power surge could cause electricity to come through the cord, set the carpeting on fire. So we want to make sure that we unplug anything that has electrical current going to it that produces heat that's not necessary to be plugged in, be unplugged every day. So unplug the toaster, unplug your cell phone, unplug the laminator. Your computers stay plugged in. That's fine. They actually don't take as much current as you think. So we just want to be safe in the workplace. Just be mindful of how things are plugged in and what they're plugged into. Examine all electrical cords for wear and tear. If a cord is frayed, turning color, a lot of times they'll turn brown. If they're bubbly, take that appliance or that cord out of service, have it repaired. If it can't be repaired, get a new one. That tells you that there's something electrically wrong with those. In the office, you want to be careful of using the Glade plugins and like the Scentsy with the light bulb that melts the wax. When you leave in the evening, you want to make sure you turn those off and unplug them. The Glade plugins, when you let them get dry, it only heats the plastic while it's plugged into the wall. We don't say no to those, but we have had a few fires caused by those. Candles in the office. Generally speaking, this is a bad idea. No open flame where there's paper. We don't want open flames and papers together, especially close together. Yes, they smell good. They smell nice. We have seen a lot of candle warmers that are electric and plug in. We don't say no to those, but we would prefer they be plugged directly into the wall. If you have to plug it into a power strip, that's fine. Make sure that you turn it off when you leave in the evening. If you can, unplug it. It's best that you unplug it. No open flames in the workplace, please. So everyone, please be smart and safe with your appliances in your office. If you have cords running everywhere, find another way to run them so they're not a tripping hazard or that no one is walking on them. Make sure your office has a clear and precise escape route. If there would be an emergency in the building, even other than a fire, how are you going to get out? How are visitors in the building going to get out with you? So we need to make sure that everything has defined aisles, everything has a defined clear pathway, and no doors are obstructed or blocked from being opened or closed completely. Help everyone remember to do their part to be safe in the office and in the workplace. And everyone be safe and have a happy holiday.